Hi everybody, welcome. We will be exploring our sequence today with a little more emphasis on the standing part. The fun thing about becoming more familiar with the sequence is we can go through it more smoothly and it can prepare us for extra new explorations, extra challenges. Maybe we'll find more support in different areas and perhaps more depth, though that's not the goal. We always want to go for support first, but it's really fun to discover things that are evolving and progressing as our body strengthens and becomes more familiar with the sequence. So with that, we can begin. Take a quarter turn to the left and shift forward until you can recline all the way down onto the back. And just pause once you arrive. Wiggle around any way that you need to be comfortable. And start to tune into the breath flow. Notice the sensation of the breath. Notice where it's traveling to in the body. Without any judgment, just becoming more aware, and sometimes bringing that new awareness allows the breath to become smoother, to become fuller, but not because of effort, just because the light of consciousness is illuminating it. As you breathe, you may become aware of areas in the body where you're holding tension, and feel free to wiggle around, make any adjustments, perhaps walking the shoulders down the back, letting the head rotate from side to side, stepping the feet a little further apart. Whatever you notice in the body, give yourself the space to move and accommodate and release the tightness. Keep noticing breath. And as you focus on the breath and your physical form, imagine the thoughts just starting to drip out of the mind into the earth. Kind of like, will you hold this for me? Just let them go. And the earth is like, yeah, I got you. I'll take care of this for now. We're over the next hour and a half going to focus on the body, on the breath, and really try to disengage from the grappling of the mind. And let's just take another moment to rest softly here. If you are following along with the playlist, you can hit play on the first track. Make sure it's set to loop, and we'll begin moving. And so just gently start to drag the heels back towards the sits bones, eventually letting the soles of the feet come to the earth in a bridge pose setup. And then bring your awareness to your sacrum. And we're going to play with some pelvic tilts. So allow the tailbone to get heavy and point towards the earth, and notice how the top of the sacrum arches away from the mat. Your low back arch might increase. And then we'll reverse that by allowing the sacrum to get really heavy. The tailbone will tilt up slightly. You'll feel sacrum and low back press into the mat. And just start to gently flow between those two positions. And let the sits bones or the tailbone, doesn't matter which one's your focal point, let them initiate the movement. So they're either getting heavy and dropping towards the floor, or they're getting light and reaching away from the floor. And as they move, start to pay attention to how the rest of the sacrum responds, or actually those aren't, the tailbones on the sacrum, the sits bones aren't, but they're connected via the SI joint. Notice how the low back responds. And though it might be subtle, you might even feel a gentle response in the thoracic vertebra, the cervical vertebra, maybe even all the way up to the fascia of the skull. The head gently nodding, yes. Yes, I love yoga. The next time the sacrum rocks back, pause there and just notice the very gentle core engagement that's there. You're not doing a crunch, you're not making anything happen, but it just naturally happens. It's necessary for this movement to be possible. And keep that integration. Bring your hands onto your tummy so your thumbs feel the low ribs and your pinkies feel the top of the pelvis, the ilium. Keep that distance the same between thumbs and pinkies as you extend the legs out. And it's actually going to be harder with the legs extended out, so you might feel a tendency for the pelvis to want to tip forward. See if you can oppose that with a little extra strength in the core. And just to check to make sure it's there, take a couple of those same pelvic tilts that you did in the bridge setup and just notice what the core has to do to make it possible to press the sacrum down. The next time the sacrum is pressed down, pause there, and we're going to keep this anchoring of the pelvis as we add some movement in with the arms. So reach the arms overhead, point the toes, stretch through the fingertips, lengthening through the whole body. And then gently begin to bend the left knee, sliding the left foot up the leg like a lying down tree pose. Bend the right elbow just like a cactus arm. We're going to call this cactus tree. And keep the pelvis anchored as you cross the elbow towards the knee, but you don't need to lift the body. Extend arm and leg back out to where you began, and just take a few extra slow circles, this cactus tree, focusing on the pelvis, right? And you might notice that your range of motion is a lot smaller when your pelvis stays anchored. That's okay. That's actually really good. It means this is probably a great exercise for you. The next time the arm and leg extend apart, lift the left leg, cross it over the body, and ever so slowly roll over the right side. Keep the head heavy so it rolls over the right bicep. And once you make it onto the belly, bend the left knee and start to drag the hands back until they're in line with the heart. Keep the hands anchored, but keep dragging to allow the spine to lengthen forward, kind of like a cobra pose. And then hover the arms and C-curve to the right, gazing over the right shoulder at the left foot. Slowly start to C-curve the other way, lengthening the left leg out, lengthening left arm alongside the body, and reach the right arm long. And then we'll repeat that. So arms to a W, bend the left knee, C-curve to the right, and then lengthen everything out as you C-curve to the left. We'll do it one last time. So everything bends as you go to the right. Everything extends as you go to the left. From the left, release the right arm down, plant the left hand, push into the left hand to slowly roll onto the back. Once again, grab behind the left leg and kick the left leg forward to slowly come up to seated. Bend the left knee and just twist into the left leg. So away from the screen for a moment. You can add an arm circle here by dropping the left hand and circling it forward, up, and back. And then slowly twist open to the right. Bend the right elbow, plant the pinky side of the right hand, and just take a couple of springs into the right arm, just strengthening the right shoulder, starting to wake up some awareness there. Great. And then the next time you come up, grab behind the left leg, kick the left leg forward so you feel how the leg and the core connect, and then keep that kicking action so you can control your way back down. And really take your time here. Make sure you can breathe. Make sure you can smile. And try to find that perfect amount of kicking that allows you to control the descent. And then once you recline, extend the left leg out. Pause for a moment in Shavasana. No need to rush, though knowing that Shavasana is the destination might make you want to rush. And just notice the sensation in the left leg, up to the left hip, crossing up to the right side of the body and the right arm. We did a lot of stuff in this contralateral line of the body, the spiral line. Now we're going to even it out with the right leg and the left arm. So start by gently circling the arms overhead. Point hands and feet, reaching them apart, lengthening the body, and then start to rock the pelvis. And then root the sacrum down. And now right knee bends and left elbow bends. And then cross them and extend. And take 3 circles here, favoring the pelvis staying anchored and being very humble in how much you can circle the leg. The next time you extend, lift the right leg over the left, slowly rolling onto the belly. So we're rolling the other way off the mat this time. Bend the right knee, drag the hands back. Once they're in line with the heart, keep dragging them back so that the spine can lengthen. Feel the shoulder blades sliding down the back and the heart reaching forward. And then hover the arms and start to C-curve to the left. So opposite direction to what knee is bent. Gaze over the left shoulder. And then lengthen the right leg out. Lengthen the arms out and C-curve to the right, letting the right arm slide down the right side of the body. And then back to W, bend the right knee. Everything bends as you C-curve to the left. Everything extends as you C-curve to the right. And notice that hand sliding down the right thigh. Let's do it one more time, nice and slow. And the next time you're to the right, let the left arm come to the ground. Push into the right hand, slowly rolling over the left side. Bend the right knee, grab behind it, and kick into the right leg until you can roll up to seated. Bend the right knee, place the sole of the right foot down. Bend the left knee, reach the arm forward, up, and back. And just take a couple of circles. We're approaching the sequence a little differently than usual, but I wanted your core to be fully awake before we moved on from here. The next time you circle the arm forward, reach the left arm forward and twist away from me. So left arm sweeps behind you, bend the left elbow, and just take a couple of springs into the left shoulder. And then come back up, twist towards the right leg, grab behind it. And then we'll slowly control our descent. And this really does take a lot of finesse. And if you try to rush it, you'll probably feel a moment where you fall a little bit, aka you lose the control of the movement. And once you make it all the way down, good job, Diana. You're really controlling it. That looks awesome. We'll pause in Shavasana and now hopefully feel a sense of evenness through the body. And let's gently drag the heels in, plant the soles of the feet down, and just bounce the feet a couple of times. And as the feet bounce, they might reposition and trust that they're finding their most comfortable spot. And then let them relax down, reach the fingertips towards the heels, and let's come back to those pelvic tilts. But the next time the sacrum presses down, we're going to go a bit further. So notice how the low back presses down into the mat here, and then slowly try to curl the tailbone up so that you can feel one vertebra at a time, reaching away from the floor, as if your spine was a mala or a string of pearls, and you were just gently lifting the necklace so that one bead at a time lifted. And then gently reverse that, placing one bead at a time back down. Try to feel the breath here. It can be really beneficial to feel the movement happening on the exhale and even pause on the inhale. And you're going to have an opportunity to experiment with this again later in class and just build more and more awareness. Okay, so now extend the legs out, reach arms overhead, and we're going to just go through our sequence on the right side quickly so we can move on. So let's start by anchoring the pelvis and then come into that cactus tree. Let elbow and knee come together. Extend everything out and then cross the left leg over, rolling onto the belly, dragging the hands back, bend the left knee and C-curve to the right. And then extend everything out, C-curve to the left. Push the hand into the earth, slowly rolling over the right side. Grab behind the left thigh and kick the leg forward, coming all the way up. And now we'll move on and we'll build on this sequence. So twist towards the left and then untwist to the right and press the hand down. Option to keep playing with bouncing, or if that arm is feeling strong enough, you can start to lift the hips any amount and then set the hips down and twist into the leg. So a couple of options, and play with what feels most appropriate for your right shoulder. Those bounces build a lot of strength, so don't ever feel any pressure to take more weight in the shoulder. It only creates stress in the neck. We don't need that. The next time the right hand is down, bend the right knee, place the right foot behind the left foot, and our tabletop's going to be a little different this week. Push down into the right hand and then drop the left hand as the feet swivel so you're at a tilted table. Yeah, so your hands don't have to adjust, and then go back the way you came. So let's just try that a couple of times. And if it feels like too much on the obliques and it's not comfortable, we can just meet in table. But if it is comfortable, just take a couple more. And then let's all meet in table, and just to feel fair, take a couple on the other side. So the right hand lifts and the left knee drops, and you just gently turn away from me. And then let's meet in table and pause for a moment with the knees hovering. Connect to the breath. It's hard because the core is engaged here. And then drop the knees and slowly let the hips sink back to the heels, but keep the toes tucked under. Melt the forehead, and it's okay that one hand may be off your mat because we're at an angle. Let the tailbone get really heavy and slowly stack one vertebra at a time. Push the hips forward at the same time. Drag the hands back so you're slowly coming all the way up to kneeling with just a little bit of lengthening through the front of the body. And then circle the arms back. Pause with arms overhead, and then start to crease at the hips, sending the hips back just like a chair pose. Drop the arms and send the hips forward, opening through the front of the body, and then send the hips back. Just repeat this a couple of times. Kneeling tree to strengthen the legs, and then our baby camel pose to just start to support the spine a little bit more. The next time you come up, pause there, bring the hands to the belly, same way as before, pinkies on the ilium and thumbs on the rib cage. Do a little crunch so you feel that space close. And then keep that really nice and tight as you bend the knees a little bit more. And you shouldn't feel the body arching at all. So really all the movement comes from the knees. You'll know you're doing it right if your quads are like, wow, I'm really working here. You don't have to go very far, but hey, we've done this for a few weeks in a row, so maybe you're noticing that you feel more support. And the next time you float up, pause there, melt the arms down to the side, and slowly flip the palms away from you. Circle them up overhead, and then let the left arm drop, and just take a nice, easy side bend to the left. And then lift the left arm and go to the other side. And just do this a couple of times. It's kind of like what we did on our belly when the arm slides down the side. So you might just notice that similar sensation and try to support your core the same way you did when you had to resist gravity on the belly. And the next time you come up, reach both arms up and step the right foot forward to a short lunge. And we'll just add, we'll do that same movement from a lunge. So take a nice easy side bend to the right, and then push down into the feet, coming to neutral, and then drop the right arm. And then the next time you side bend, simultaneously lift the right arm. And start to connect with the breath. So you have to move at your own pace to connect with the breath, because all of our breaths are so different. Try exhaling as you curve to the right, and inhaling to come to center. And let your breath set the pace for you. Bring a little extra awareness to the left side of the body and try to feel the sense of continuity of the ribs down into the obliques, down into the pelvis and the thigh. And the next time you reach up, pause there, push down into the knee, and feel the whole left side reach up towards the sky. And then bring the right foot in so you're in a really short 90-90. It's going to make it easier on both knees. Rock a little extra weight into the right heel so there won't be any strain in the right knee. And slowly start to lift the left knee away from the floor. Good. And then drop left arm, reach the right arm up, and straighten both legs. And so now let's bend both knees just a little bit and lift the left arm. Drop right arm. Straighten both legs, switch arms. As the knees bend and the arms switch, try to feel that sense of strength from the left knee up through the side body into the left arm. So there really is this opposing force from the left knee all the way up the side of the body into the arm. And the next time you lunge, pause for a moment and never worry about going too deep. Try to feel buoyant. Diana, try bending the back knee a little bit more. Yeah, just only if it's comfortable, but that looks really good from an outside perspective. And then slowly lengthen both legs up. Let the back heel drop and reach the right arm up. We're just going to pause for a moment and scan the body. Notice the sense of warmth. Make sure your knees feel okay. Lunges can be really challenging, but we really can do them in a supported way that's nice and safe. And then just bend both knees a little bit. Bring your hands to your hips and then gently slide the hands down the leg. Bend front knee as much as you need to. Place the left hand to the mat and walk the right foot over to the right. Drop the back knee. Drop the right hand and just make a few slow hula hoops with the hip. Don't worry about stretching here. In fact, if you feel a stretch, come up a couple of inches and instead imagine you're just oiling up that left hip, not stretching any muscles. And then from center, lift the right hand, slowly drag the left knee forward until you can put the left hip down, extend the left leg forward, extend the right leg forward, and just pause for a moment. Great. And then bend the right knee, grab behind the right leg, kick it forward. You know this one by now. Slowly start to control your way down. Nice, Roseanne. That looked great. Once you make it onto the back, reach the right leg forward. Reach the arms overhead and just pause in Shavasana. And we'll prepare to do it on the second side. So just start by rocking the pelvis Let the sacrum connect, and again, feel what happens in the core to make that a reality. Bring your hands to that position we've been finding a lot with the thumb on the ribs and pinkies on the hips, and just notice that connection between the pelvis and the ribs. This nice support when our core is naturally engaged but not over-flexed. And then maintain as the arms reach out, and we'll start with our cactus tree. So bend the right knee, bend the left elbow, keep the sacrum down as they circle together, and then lengthen apart. We'll take 3 of these circles. And the next time the right leg extends, slowly cross it over, rolling onto the belly. Bend the right knee, drag the hands back. We'll always C-curve first into the mat, and then lengthen everything away from the mat. Everything bends to the left and extends to the right. Let's do one more extra slow so you can feel the support through the back, the connection from the leg into the core. Next time you're to the right, push into the right hand, slowly roll onto the back, grab behind the right thigh and kick the right leg forward, coming up to seated. Bend the right knee. Twist gently to the right, and then untwist to the left. Plant the left hand and either bounce or bring a little extra weight into the hand, letting the hips lift any amount. And then set the hips down and twist. And now at your own pace, start to play between twisting to the right, opening to the left, bringing some amount of strength into the shoulder, but no strain, never any strain. And the next time you're facing left, push into the right foot, bend the left knee, and tuck the left foot behind the right. Bring your awareness to the left hand. It's going to stay where it is, and that's going to determine our tilted table, right? Because a normal table would mean the left hand would have to go way back. Push into the left hand, push into the right foot, lift the hips, and drop the right hand, just letting the left foot pivot. And then come back, as long as that's not too much. If it is too much, just stay in table and let the knees pivot from side to side from table. But if you enjoy that bigger movement, yeah, nice, looks great. Just make sure there's no strain, especially in the low back or the side core. Next time you're in table, play with going the other way, just because I noticed I felt super imbalanced if I didn't do this on both sides. And then we'll all meet in hovering tables. So that just means the knees are lifted. And try to integrate the ribs into the core. So that same movement we were finding on the back. And then gently drop the knees. Keep the toes tucked under as you push into the hands, melting hips back to heels. The hands can slide forward if you need more space. Let the head rest. And then drop the tailbone. Send the hips forward as the arms circle back, slowly coming up to our floating camel pose. And then once the arms are overhead, drag the ribs in, send the hips back, kneeling chair. Hips forward, arms drop, floating camel, and then kneeling chair. And just move nice and slow and try to feel the sense of the legs being connected to the core, being connected to the ribs. And you might notice you don't go into a very deep back bend, but you feel really supported from the front of the body. That's awesome. That's what we're going for. Yeah, looks really nice. Great pacing. The next time you're upright, pause there. Let the arms drop for a moment just so the shoulders can have a break. You can just take a little circle with the shoulders. And then gently lift both arms and drop just the right arm, slowly bending to the right and then coming back to center, slowly bending to the left. We'll do this a couple more times on each side and really try to feel a sense of the top side of the body being connected all the way down to the knee. Sometimes we just move from the ribs and they disassociate from the core. We really want everything to feel connected. And then come up to center. Reach both arms up, shift the weight into the right knee, and step the left foot for a nice short lunge. We'll side bend to the left. Feel the connection from left knee up through, right knee up the right side of the body, and then drop the left arm as you come up to neutral. And then we return to the side bend, floating the left arm, and then dropping the left arm from neutral. And now you move with your breath. The breath doesn't change though. So natural exhale as you side bend. Natural inhale floats you up. And really try to feel how the breath has the power to generate this movement for you. It's almost like you don't have to control anything. The breath just guides you if you're willing to listen. And the next time you come up, pause there. Walk the left foot in a little bit so you're in a nice short stance. Bring extra weight into the left heel so the hips might even send back a little bit. Push into the left foot so it stabilizes, and then slowly hover the right knee. Drop the right arm, extend both legs, and lift the left hand. Pause for a moment at standing, and then we'll reverse that back down. So the knees bend and the arms switch. And then the legs extend and the arms switch again. And you know you're doing it right because when the knees bend, you really want to feel this reaching action from right knee through the right arm. Just take a couple, and don't worry about bending very far, but just really try to feel that integration from the back leg up through the side body. And the next time you come up, pause upward, let the heel come down. It is okay to shorten your stance to make that possible. Push into the feet, integrate the ribs, and just let the legs rest for a moment. And then release the arms, release the hands to the hips, soften the knees, bounce a couple of times so everything's nice and relaxed. And then slowly start to drip the hands over the leg. Release both hands down and slowly release the back knee down. Make any space you need between left heel and right knee, and just nice, easy hula hoops. Slow, not deep. You can go the opposite direction. And then bring a little extra weight into the right hand and the left foot. Lift the left hand, slide the right knee forward, set the right hip down, and then extend both legs in front of you. If you're using the playlist, you can go to the next track. This is also a great time to have a sip of water. I know I need one. Yeah, it's amazing. This style of yoga that nourishes the fascia so deeply does mean we have to drink a lot of extra water. You might notice, like, I'm thirstier than usual in these yoga classes, and that's really natural. Okay. Take your time, no need to rush, but when you're ready, you'll use the left knee or left thigh to slowly control your way down, and give yourself some credit. Notice if this is feeling a little easier or maybe even more fun, dare I say it. And once you make it to the ground, extend the legs forward. And because we've finished both sides, we're going to play with that bridge pose again. We're going to do it always after both sides, but not after each side. So gently drag the heels in, placing the soles of the feet to the ground. Feel free to bounce the legs a couple of times, or if you know your feet are in the right spot, that's fine. Reach the fingertips towards the heels, anchor the shoulders down, and then start with your pelvic tilts. And the next time the back of the sacrum pushes down and the tailbone lifts, slowly start to lift your spinal mala one bead at a time. So really trying to feel, and if there's an area where you can't quite lift one at a time, inhale and go back, and then exhale, lift, And so you can stay in one spot, and this actually will help you activate the muscles that might be dormant or might be weak. And so take your time, let it be an exploration. And then once you make it to the top, you can slowly start to make your way back down in the same fashion. So take your time and really try to, I like to feel my spine almost like a snake with all of the possibilities of movement and control wrapping around the spine from all directions. Once the sacrum's back down, you can extend the legs, extend the arms, anchor the pelvis, and then we'll go left leg, right arm into our cactus tree. We'll just take 3. And then once you've extended, cross the left leg over, rolling onto the belly, bend the left knee. And we'll just do one of these. So you curve to the right, extend everything to the left, and then push into the left hand, roll over, grab behind the left leg, and kick it forward. Place the sole of the left foot down. I'll pause for a moment till we all meet here. Nice control. And then let's twist to the left. Left arm circles up and back. And then untwist to the right, option to bounce into the right arm or to lift the hips. If you're lifting the hips, it's fun to extend the left knee and the left arm at the same time. And then place everything down and twist. If you are making a bigger movement to the right, it is okay to start to increase your movement to the left, dropping the left knee and rolling a little bit further. I'm not going to tell you exactly what to do because I want it to be something that's like unfolding in your body from momentum. So just give yourself that opportunity. If you're making smaller movements, you can always stay in the twist and add that left arm circle in like we did before. The next time you untwist to the right, 2 options, hips down, tuck the foot under, or if you're feeling really strong and it went well in that past vinyasa, you can stay lifted as you tuck the toes under and then drop the left arm to pivot to your hovering table. And then let's go back the way we came. So left arm lifts, knees swivel to the left and drop. If that feels okay, you can play with extending the right leg and then going back to hovering table. Do one more exploration, whatever feels right to you, and then we'll just go to the right one time so that the left shoulder gets a little bit of love. And then we'll meet in hovering table. Feel free to walk out opposite arm and leg, or just pause and breathe, or we meet in Bhaktasana. Nice. Let's all melt the knees, hips to heels, forehead down, connect to the breath. And then push the knees down, send the hips forward, circling the arms back into our floating camel. Just take one kneeling chair pose, drop the arms, circling into our floating camel. And now from here, drop the left arm and slowly side bend to the left. If the hand is really low, you can play with gliding the hand back along the shin, and then we'll go the other way. You definitely don't ever want any strain in the low back, so don't force anything, but if it feels really natural and you want that little rotation, give yourself the freedom to explore. After you do the right side the next time, come back to center, lift the arms, and then step the right foot forward. Side bend to the right, and then drop the right arm and come back to neutral. Side bend to the right, lift the right arm, and just do one more on your own. And then the next time you're at neutral, shorten your stance a little bit. Bring extra weight into the right heel and slowly start to lift the left knee away from the mat. Switch the arms, straighten the legs. Great. So now we take a couple of pulses here and make sure the weight stays in the right heel so there's no strain in the front knee. The next time the legs straighten, reach the right arm up. So this is our home base, right? We're always going to come back to this if we get lost. You guys look great. And now we add on. So right knee bends, arms switch as you shift forward. Everything extends back to home base. Take a couple of pulses. As you do this, it becomes even more important to keep that weight in the right heel so you don't feel any pressure in the front of the kneecap. The next time you shift forward, play with hovering the left foot. Just see if your body wants that. And then bring the foot down. And it's up to you if you repeat a couple of those baby flying warriors or if you just stay with the forward lunge. And the next time you're shifted forward, power into the right foot. Let the arms switch as the left leg kicks forward. And then just take a couple nice, easy leg swings, trying to keep the pelvis pretty level and just letting the movement come from the hip socket. And the next time the leg swings back, bend the right knee really generously. Take a couple of bounces. And then slowly start to melt over the right leg. Bend the right knee as much as you need to and plant the hands down. The right leg is probably a little bit tired, so see if you can add enough weight into the hands to give the right leg just a little bit of a break. So bring the palms down, let the head drop. Maybe the left leg goes up a little bit, but it doesn't have to. And then slowly bend the right knee, let the left toes come down. Walk the right foot over to the right a little bit, and then slowly turn the feet to the right so that you can take a side plank, but keep the right foot down so it's nice and easy and supported. And then slowly drop the right hand, turn the toes back to face the short edge of the mat, drop the left knee, and slowly roll up to your short lunge. Magic! We're back at the beginning. So we're going to do that again. So lift the left arm, drop the right arm, and we start with our pulsing lunge. So when you're ready, slowly start to switch arms and lift the back knee. Take a couple of pulses here. Whenever you're ready to move on, you go from the home base to leaning forward. Option for the Vera 3 or just lean forward. Try to really listen to what the body wants. And then from leaning forward, you can add the leg swing. And then next time the left leg swings back, bend the front knee, melt over the leg. Bring as much weight as you want into the hands and play with keeping the elbows nice and bent, but push in to the horseshoe of the hands and feel the front of the body hollowing out. Maybe the hips even lift a little bit as you do that. And then slowly reach the left foot back, left toes come underneath, push into the left hand and side plank to the right. Let all 10 toes point to the right. And then slowly point all 10 toes to the short edge of the mat where you came from. Drop the hands, walk the left hand over, and kick the left leg through, bringing the left hip down. Great. Pause for a moment at seated. Grab behind the right leg, just preparing to descend. And then whenever you're ready, I know that right leg's tired. It's like, I don't want to help you do this, but it's good. It's funny, Diana, I saw you switch. It was like, you're like, oh, it's the tired leg I have to hold on to. And once you make it onto the back, extend the right leg forward. And let's just pause and absorb and also observe the right side of the body, especially that right leg. Though we're challenging ourselves, we definitely don't want to strain. Oh. Okay, and we'll just go through this One more time on the other side, and then we'll have some options to explore yogi's choices. So let's begin by reaching arms overhead and then start to rock the pelvis. And the next time the sacrum is anchored down, cactus tree, right knee, left arm, cross. Do 3 of these extra slow, really trying to notice the sense of control you have over the rotation of the thigh bone in the hip socket. The next time everything extends, cross the right leg over the left, slowly rolling onto the belly. Bend the right knee, drag the hands back. C-curve to the left, everything bends. Lengthen everything out as you side bend to the right. Plant the right hand, roll over the left side of the body, grab behind the right leg, and kick the right leg forward, rolling you all the way up. Nice, easy twist to the right. Remember, you can always spend extra time here circling the arm. And then we untwist to the left, option to bounce or option to lift a little higher. And now move between these 2 shapes. Remember, you've got the option, if you're making bigger movements to the left, you can express that stored energy to the right, rolling a little further, and just noticing the pathway that the energy wants to travel. Let your body just be a conduit for that energy. And the next time you're pointed to the left, you've got 2 options, hips high or hips low. Tuck the left foot behind the right, and then drop the right hand as the left knee swivels under to your table. Take a couple of swivels that way. Option to kick the left leg out or to keep it tucked, whatever feels best for your core and your back. And then let's just do one the other way so the body stays pretty balanced. And then hold your table, or we'll meet in Bhaktasana, depending on what your body is craving. So honor that. Nice. Yeah, you can add in a little wiggle anytime you want. And then let's all drop the knees, send the hips to the heels, and just pause. Check in with the shoulders, check in with the back. Shift the hips from side to side if that feels nice on hip sockets or low back. And then push down into the knees as the hips lift and the hands circle back, floating camel. And then kneeling chair. Drop the arms, send the hips forward, floating camel, and then pause here. Side bend to the right. Right arm glides down. Option to take it a little further. If the hand easily comes to the heel, you can play for a moment rotating the rib cage open and close. Just make sure there's no pressure in the low back. And then to come out of it, float the hand to the sacrum, come to neutral, and then lift the right hand up. We go the other way. So side bend to the left. Option to glide the hand. Option to push down into the heel. An option to rotate the rib cage. And not all of these options are the best choice for you, so breathe and feel and be humble and honor yourself. And then to come out, push down into the legs, bring the left hand to the sacrum, slowly curl up, and then let the left hand lift. Shift the weight into the right knee, step the left foot forward, and we take our side bend to the left. Float back up, drop the left arm. Side bend again, now with the floating arm. And just do one more like that. Float back up. Option to shorten your stance if that's helping you. And then as you're ready, push down into the back toes and the front foot to hover the knee. Switch the arms. Take your pulses, really paying attention to the right side of the body, including the right arm and the leg, and feeling that connection and that power. Let's all meet in home base, and then we can start to play forward, keeping the weight in the left heel. Option to start to hover to any amount in Vira 3 or not, it's up to you. And the next time you're forward, let the legs swing, let the arms swing, and just take a couple of swings like that. The next time the leg swings back, reach the foot back, let the toes reach back, and slowly lower the hands down inside of the leg. Push down into the right hand, swivel the heels to the right so they point to the left, and lift the left hand for your side plank. Oh, I skipped something. We'll do it on the second round. Slowly pivot the feet, drop the left hand, and drop the right knee, push down, slowly rolling up back to the beginning. We'll meet in that lunge. Lift the right arm, drop the left. As you feel ready, power into the legs and switch the arms. And just take a couple of pulses. And if you're getting tired, don't worry about going very far. Maybe only you know you're pulsing, but you can feel that sense of movement. And we'll meet in home base with the left arm up. And then we'll start to pulse forward. Option for Vera 3. And the next time you're forward, add in the leg swing. So right leg swings forward, same time as the left arm. And here's the thing I forgot. The next time the leg swings back, slowly start to bend the front knee and melt forward, planting the hands down. Give your left leg a break by shifting a little extra weight into the hands as if you were going to do a handstand. And as you do that, just notice any sense of the front edge of the body sucking up to meet the spine. And now bend the left knee, bring the right foot down, and we're much better prepared for our side plank. So swivel the feet to the left, push down into the right hand, lift the left hand. And then swivel back, drop the left hand, drop the right knee, take a couple of little hula hoops. And then shift the weight into right hand and left foot. Point either the right knee forward or the right foot. It's up to you. Either way, the right hip comes down. And we eventually step the right leg forward and bring the left leg to meet it. And just pause for a moment. We're balanced on sides, and try to sit up straight or lean back a little bit and just feel that sense of your pelvis supporting you. Bring your hands to your core and just feel the relationship between the pelvis and the ribs. And then start to rotate the rib cage around a little bit. Noticing how as you roll forward, the space between the hands gets shorter. As you roll to the right, there's more space between the left hand than the right. And just play with this a little bit, noticing when your core feels the strongest, most integrated. And then come back to center. And this time as we recline, we're going to play with reclining, holding both legs. Oh, and just kidding, actually, extra core work, come back up to seated. You have two options for the next track. The next song is upbeat, like a little more upbeat than the one we're listening to. 2 tracks from now is more relaxing. And because we're getting into the yogi's choice part, if you are going to do our challenge pose of handstand, I encourage you to do the upbeat one. If you want something more mellow, choose the 4th track on the list. So 3rd track is upbeat, 4th track is more chill. So yogi's choice. Of course, you can have a sip of water. And then whenever you've done the things, now you're warmed up and ready to play with lowering onto the back with the control and the connection to both legs. And then extend the legs, drag the heels back. We finished 2 more rounds, so as promised, we'll do another spinal exploration here. And so, option to bounce the feet out once you've found your foot placement. Rock on the pelvis. And now slowly start to lift 1 vertebra at a time. And notice if you're starting to have more sensation in the spine, like maybe it feels like, oh wow, I actually can do 1 at a time. And so our first option for Yogi's Choice is to spend a lot more time with this, especially if it's really challenging. Take your time, do as many spinal rolls as you want. If you want a little bit more, we can do a similar exercise, but with the feet lifted. Anchor into the shoulders, push into the hands, and then slowly try to curl 1 vertebra at a time away from the mat, but it's way harder. You don't want any pressure in the head and neck here. It should all be in the arms, and the shoulders, and the core. So maybe you don't lift very high, and that's totally fine. Make sure you can breathe. It can be really nice to exhale and slowly lift up any amount, and then inhale to come back down. And then remember, you can always go back to the bridge pose if you're feeling like that's too much or it's not enjoyable. Very similar. Can even be fun to alternate the extra challenge. And then you almost feel weightless in the bridge pose. Nice. Great control. And so now, options. Options are to continue playing with these things. Option for something more restorative. And then we'll also have an option for a little handstanding experiment. So if you're ready to stop moving, you're welcome to set your restorative pose up by grabbing some kind of cushion and placing it between the shoulder blades. And actually, I need another one for my head because you want to make sure your neck is nice and supported. And then just letting the arms lift and open. The feet can come nice and wide. The knees can knock in. And the trick here, before you rest completely, is to just connect the rib cage to the pelvis, sensing evenness and continuity through the core and the spine. And then if you are excited to use all of the shoulder strength and all of the core strength to experiment with a handstand, I will do a little demo. Can you zoom in a little bit on the wall? So we had a sneak peek of the handstand when we came forward, planted the hands, and shifted the weight. And so now I'm going to encourage people, if they want to try it, to go towards a wall and to actually play with the sequence of taking a little lunge, going forward to the Vira 3, releasing forward, but now there's a wall, so woohoo, you can play with shifting the weight. And if that feels good and you really feel like the shoulders can support you here, bending into the grounded leg. and really just focusing on pushing into the hands to lift the top leg, but keeping the bottom leg heavy. And taking as many pulses as you want like that. And then perhaps there's a moment where you get a little hang time and the other leg wants to lift, in which case you can allow it to do so. But maybe it's just little hops. And you can try both legs. Sometimes one is better than the other. Nice. And you don't even have to hop. You know, sometimes just that hollow body is a great way to prepare. Nice. And take your time, especially if it's feeling good, but whenever you feel like, ooh, that was enough, you can make your way back to the mat. I always like to do just a little bit of wrist therapy after that. Oh yeah, keep going. And just make sure you can breathe nice. And I want everybody to have time. So if you're enjoying playing, keep playing. If you're not enjoying playing anymore, you can come back to those nice therapeutic spinal rolls, up and down in bridge pose, or just our gentle heart opening restorative pose. But no need to rush. There's lots of options. And the only thing that's not optional is feeling your breath. And then for our wrist therapy, you can bring the palms together, interlace the fingers. Keep the forearms together as you just gently start to circle the wrists. And it's okay to let the forearms slide. And then switch the clasp of the hands to the awkward way and try to go both directions. So try bringing your forearms together a little bit more. There you go. And then pause, bring the palms to the heart. Free the left hand and wrap the left hand around to the other side of the right thumb and slowly start to flip the hand so the pinky side comes to the heart, and you're just ever so gently peeling the hand open, letting the bones in the wrist find a little extra space. And then we'll switch hands. So bring the pinky of the left hand into the heart. Grab the left thumb and just gently start to peel it open. can just gently rock on the sits bones if that feels good. And then from kneeling, because we've done so much to awaken support along the spine, we're just going to do some really gentle spinal mobilization. This is something I do almost every day, and it feels really, really nice. And I'm going to turn to the side just so you can see. You can float the arms and bring the fingertips to the base of the skull, and just ever so gently start to roll the chin down, finding length through the back of the heart, kind of like our rolling bridge pose, just trying to move one vertebra at a time. So you rock the head forward, and then just gently come back up and try to move the opposite direction, one vertebra at a time, extending through the upper thoracic. The elbows can pull wide. And then let's try that again with the breath. So from center, slowly start to exhale, releasing the spine forward. And gently inhale to extend the spine. And if you don't make it all the way, just pause, take another exhale, and then continue to inhale and open. One more time, forward and back. And then we'll go side to side. So from center, with your next exhale, slowly start to curve the top vertebra all the way down to about the mid ribs. And then inhale back up. And of course, this is on your own breath, so as many exhales as it takes. And then you'll inhale back up, and just take one more round on each side and move really slow, so you really have this sense of connecting the breath to the movement and bringing all the awareness to each vertebra one at a time. And then back to center. Give the arms a little break and open the knees a bit more. And two options. You can repeat that, especially if that was really challenging and you just want to focus on one vertebra at a time. If that felt pretty smooth, we can connect the two by rolling forward and then rolling to the side, and then rolling back to the front and up. And then forward and to the other side, and then forward and up. Just repeating that a couple of times. So we're joining the forward fold to the side bend. You can start to make a full half circle to the front instead of rolling back up if you want. And then we will slowly roll back up. And the last one is not for everyone, because sometimes the neck extension is just uncomfortable for people. So if neck extension is really hard, I'm going to encourage you not to do this last one. But if it feels comfortable, you can extend the neck and then add the side bend. And so it's just the back half of the circle of what we just did. And almost imagine the extension coming from the abdomen, even though, how do I say it? The abdomen is supporting you so that you don't feel any pressure in the neck. Even though the mobilization is coming from the neck, the support is really from this deeper core. And then our final option is to just make a couple of full circles And it is okay to allow the rib cage to participate a little bit more if that feels good. And use the hands to just ensure that the neck feels really supported. We'll go the opposite direction. And then when you feel balanced, you can just pause and melt the arms down. And just notice any sense of lightness in the head, neck, and shoulders. It's funny that little sequence almost seems like a warm-up, but I really enjoy it so much more at the end of class when I'm really warm and I can find more awareness and more support. So with that, hopefully you feel really ready to meditate. It feels almost like easy to sit upright. Feel free to grab a cushion or a blanket. Pause your music, have a sip of water. So our meditation today is going to focus on the breath. And hopefully that will be really easy because we had a lot of extra breath awareness in our class. Oh good, the kitty wants to meditate with us. Cats are really tuned in. So take your time finding your comfortable base of support, and eventually when the spine finds its positioning, just notice any extra awareness in the neck and the shoulders, the core, even the pelvis. I guess we covered a lot today. When the body feels supported, there's this ability to soften really deeply. And so just notice any sense of ease, any sense of brightness in the body, as if the physical part, the heavy part, is dissolving. And you can just tune into that energetic experience of consciousness vibrating in each of our atoms, each of our cells. And then notice the breath flow. And though you are pure consciousness and you're not separate from consciousness, imagine the breath as this direct connection to consciousness. Imagine as you feel the inhale pouring into you that you are experiencing consciousness pulsating within you. And that might make you want to take a deeper breath, but try to resist that urge and let it be so natural, so effortless. Almost like a waterfall, a continuous stream of energy pouring in. And as you exhale, instead of feeling the consciousness pour out of you, feel your ability to surrender really deeply into this flow of energy. So the the river or the waterfall or the current of energy never stops. The inhale attunes you to it, and the exhale allows you to flow freely in it. And maybe this is just a visualization, it's not something you're feeling, and that's totally fine. We'll use the mantra hum sa to help bring a very deep energetic vibration to our work. And so as you naturally inhale, silently repeat to yourself the syllable hum, and imagine that it's connecting you to this flow of pure awareness. And then as you naturally exhale, you'll repeat the syllable sa. And each time you repeat the mantra, imagine it is your direct link to this cosmic flow of energy that is your true nature and the nature of all of reality. And it really is as close and as accessible as your very next conscious breath. Just a couple of minutes left of meditation, and as you continue with the breath and the mantra, see if you can relax a little bit and trust that this process is real and it's happening, and the more you can relax into it, the more it will take over. You don't have to control it or manipulate it. And this is your true nature. And we're just letting go of our physical tension through our yoga practice, our mental tension through meditation, so that we can experience this reality, always within us, but often obscured. Just imagine all of those obscurations just lift. You're welcome to stay upright for as long as it feels nourishing to you, and you're also welcome to relax completely onto the back in Shavasana. And I do recommend hugging the knees into the chest before relaxing completely, perhaps gently rocking from side to side, or adding in a happy baby or any other last pose the body would like. a moment to acknowledge your awareness of something deeper than the physical body. It might be a very relaxed state, sense of calmness or contentment, even a flow of energy. And just observe that for a moment. And then imagine that state infusing into all of your 70 trillion cells. And so that it is fully manifest in your physical form. And start to make really gentle movements, and as you feel the physical sensation, imagine the energetic component behind them. And this infinite consciousness that's a part of every layer of your being. And if you're reclined in Shavasana, you can make bigger movements until you feel comfortable coming up to seated. If you're seated, you're welcome to stay as you are, or to even just ever so gently rotate around on the sits bones, noticing a sense of deep awareness, sensitivity inside. And then we'll all bring hands to heart center and just take a final breath to feel that connection between the energetic realm represented by the heart and the physical realm represented by the hands. Thank you so much for building that connection with me. Namaste. Can